Hey, good morning guys, Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you're serious about investing in the digital asset space. Let's get right into it today. One Take It Uncut. We will be talking about market makers, some recent on-demand liquidity corridors, and additional information that some of you may have missed. This video is not going to be anything crazy. We're just going to be going over recent information and kind of tying it all together, as we know that XRP and the price is coiling tight. Other fractals are following suit, just as, ADA, VET at least have been growing somewhat in recent weeks, and we're seeing that XRP is following that fractal, but it's still trending sideways, so it's coiling up tight. I'm expecting a decent move in the near future. So right here, Bitso, again, one of the most important Mexican exchanges for Ripple's ODL, inaugurates payment corridor between Argentina and peso. So the Mexican peso, we have the Argentine peso. You have to take into consideration also, the inflation, the economic issues of the countries themselves. Hopefully this will mitigate some risk, and this is just another on-demand liquidity corridor to take into consideration. We can see here, this market between Latin America and the United States alone offers great potential, with more than $30 billion annually in transfers as well. All right, now in Bitso, we like to build bridges. Today, we are building a digital bridge between Mexico and Argentina. Like our users in Mexico, we want Argentines to enjoy simple, global, and transparent financial services. All right, on to the next one. So we have Anders Lundberg here sharing Bob Way, and he was one of the original Ripple employees, at least the first 5 or 10 employees back in the day when Ripple started, and telling us why market makers would prefer a lot of smaller on-demand liquidity payments rather than a few big ones. So just to read through this really quick, and I do find this always fascinating. Again, you guys can find Bob Way. He had some interviews with Alex Cobb, Brad Kimes, all of these guys, and then he's kind of recently disappeared. So we always valued his, obviously, all of his input and insight, because this guy really knew what was up. I mean, he even recently had lunch with, David Schwartz, I think last time when he was chatting with the community. So right here. First, you have to remember, obviously, they want to incentivize these market makers to provide liquidity to the system. The burn rate of XRP actually statistically makes market makers that much more likely per every transaction to actually profit at the end of the day. So it's really, really interesting. And now, as we can see here, market makers are going to do what makes them the most money. Wider spreads don't necessarily result in higher profits, remember, between the bid and the ask. So spreads times trades equal profit. So having a lot of trades, again, a lot of volume at a small spread, so the price points are relatively close, can easily beat having a few trades at a higher spread. Makes sense, okay? We want tons and tons of transaction volume. Deployed capital matters hugely. If I need $1 million on deposit and I make $50,000 a year trading, I might think that sucks. If I only need $10,000 on deposit and I make $50,000 a year trading, I might think that is super. In fact, as deployed capital goes to zero, return on investment tend toward infinity. That is the fun part for competitive people. Let's be clear here. Market makers cannot quote a very narrow spread in a volatile market, or they'll lose. Found that to be very interesting. Now, to kind of go in tandem with that, let's watch a quick little interview of Bob Way chatting with Brad Kimes here, and this is XRP Stort sharing this. So again, here's the quote, just listen up.
And so that's what I expect turning the switch is going to be. It's going to be connecting banks to these other payment service providers that are already using the XRapid product and going through XRP now, and increasing the volume.
And immediately find a partner.
Now, this is really cool. This is RippleNet Home. I believe this is the demo they did over at Swell. So pay attention. It's going to allow everyone on RippleNet to actually work together as well. I mean, don't get me started on even the capabilities for Ripple to be a lender as well, which you can argue provides additional liquidity to XRP if they pay interest on that. And again, interest comes out of nowhere. It's completely made up. If you're aware and familiar with the fractional reserve banking, it's the same concept
That best fits your business goals. Get to know your potential partner, their capabilities, and perform the necessary due diligence, all within RippleNet Home. Then send a request to get connected instantly. Receive new opportunities to connect with RippleNet members that can offer you low rates and instant settlement with on-demand liquidity.
These institutions are banding together to form something called RippleNet. And that is, I mean, really those financial institutions kind of are in the driver's seat and really have the keys to operating that network. More financial institutions in more countries and locations set up on RippleNet. We also think about accelerating volume on the network. So, amongst our customers, we don't want them to just be using RippleNet for one key corridor, payment corridor. We want them to be thinking about how RippleNet can improve the services that they're offering in lots of different corridors.
All right, interesting enough. And as we can see here, when SCB, this is the Siam Commercial Bank, on-demand liquidity. You can see their partners, again, kind of summarizing all of this. So XRP_Stort, definite follow on Twitter, guys, if you want to keep up with up-to-date XRP news. He's been a long-time researcher. I appreciate his hard work very, very much. All right, so right here, I am Legion. So payments in Canada. So they're talking about links again. Notice that they select SIA as the application provider. Yes, this is from 2018, but I wanted to tie it back together since I am Legion is referencing the ISO 20022 messaging standards for links. Again, this is high value payments. So as we can see, we understand that XRP has plans to ramp up volume. Now, we do know it's a stepping stone. We do low value payments, and I'll kind of get into that in a little bit. But you have to understand that when higher value is able to go over the XRP ledger, and when there's higher volume, it turns the price upward. And with higher price, it technically, I know liquidity is a catch-all term, would allow XRP to become more liquid as well, sending higher value transactions. All right, so it really does have this type of flywheel effect. So next, and again, I am Legion alluding to this. So we can see QNB in Qatar, Finastra in the UK. Again, Finastra's like 9,000 customers. We could talk about Temenos, 3,000, and they're all RippleNet enabled. So I know you guys say Ripple directly, 350 plus customers. It goes much, much deeper than that. All right, especially with all these RippleNet home capabilities and actual single API integrations. So customers in more than 45 countries, 6 continents using RippleNet, 70 plus countries. Right here, or without capabilities in 70 plus countries, okay? Or with payout capabilities, excuse me. So we've talked about Faisal, we've talked about Bcash. Now QNB, just so you guys know, really quick, and he was alluding to this on Finextra. So QNB again, it performs international transactions with MasterCard. So we know we tied it to Visa kind of directly with their acquisition of Earthport and many other things, and Visa Direct and MoneyGram and all of that. But yeah, MasterCard's been a lot more active, you could say, with R3, but it's interesting just to see that as well with QNB. So QNB, for those of you that do not know, is the largest financial institution in the Middle East and Africa, becomes the first bank in Sudan to have successfully performed an international payment card transaction in partnership with MasterCard, a global tech company in the payments industry. Now, why am I talking about this? This has to do with payment card transactions. Well, I just wanted to reference it because obviously it's a RippleNet partner, and they're focusing on not just card transactions, international payment card transactions. All right, so we'll see. Now, again, could they utilize Xcurrent for messaging and, not use XRP? Yeah, I mean, that's what I think could be likely today. But we understand there's a rollout, and the end-all goal is to utilize XRP for transactions. 2020 is the year. I think after everything we've seen, now's as good a time as any. All right, next, so xrparcade.com, check this out. So the pound sterling GBP live on Ripple's on-demand liquidity, more currencies to follow. So just to kind of skim through this, you guys can see, I mean, really, really well-written article by Leonidas here if you guys want to check this out. But essentially just talking, a few weeks ago, we noticed that Bitstamp added, again, the British pound sterling to its platform. So they're already utilizing US dollar, euro, things of that nature, and Utility Scan actually picked up the British pound sterling ODL, or on-demand liquidity volume. And the founder of Utility Scan actually messaged Asimo and actually asked them about that, and said, are you using on-demand liquidity tech from Ripple for UK Philippines corridor? So again, we can talk about the British pound sterling to the Philippine peso. And he said, yep, thanks for your message, have a great weekend. So yes, yes, we are. So as we can see there, so pretty cool again. Now, no surprise, we knew that Asimo already had plans, but it's awesome that we had Murad Tuomi, and I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but he was able to find it on Utility Scan. So really, really cool there. Now, of course, recent news with the Brazilian Real. We've had Crypto Eddie cover a lot of things, Marjan Delatine, things of that nature. And again, I know that they just said in quotes they were discussing institutional matters. Funny enough, we had so much happening with Brazil and the Brazilian Real and actual international payment corridors with WhatsApp, MoneyGram, Facebook Pay, and Ripple. So it really makes you wonder what's going on. Are they all working together? And then obviously Banco Rendimento, and this is one of the first Brazilian banks on RippleNet. Next, JPY, simply a matter of time, talking back in 2019, revealed that FlashFX, on-demand liquidity partner in Australia, was planning to expand the corridor with Japan to the Japanese yen. So pretty cool to see that. And again, FX Coin announcing that in April its intention to test remittances with XRP. This is another group to keep an eye on, but I believe Crypto Eddie has covered this extensively, so be sure to check her channel out as well. So TaiBot, we've already talked about them with BigTub, changing strategy. Now this was interesting. This caused a lot of commotion in the XRP community. We'll absolutely see, but essentially Ashish Birla, Ripple's SVP of Products and Corporate Development, announced a change of emphasis for on-demand liquidity from these large treasury payments that we were starting to see with MoneyGram. Everyone is excited. We are seeing volume starting to go high. We were really excited to finally start seeing that price move and that ground floor rising, meaning as long as we have those consistent payments solving real problems for real customers, the ground floor of 15 cents or 20 cent XRP becomes the all new time low. So eventually we'd see that steady rise, which is the idea behind all of this. And we are so early, but I believe that will be the case in the future. Now, none of this is financial advice, guys. Just want to say that. So from large treasury payments, now it's more focused back to the low value transactions. And boring. But from day one, we knew that Ripple focused on the low value transactions, and they're focusing on high volume. This is in all of their documents and insights back in the day. And keep in mind that I'm interested in the high value transactions. But what do we need first? We need depth of liquidity in these order books. And we need these lower value. Then we can kind of go to that medium value and then a high value. And keep in mind that some banks do consider micropayments to be even $10,000 transactions. So I'm looking at the Euro system. I'm looking at the money that goes through Tips and Target 2, and I'm talking about millions, like potentially $50 million every 30 seconds or so. That's what I'm really looking at, because I do believe that XRP is just that disruptive. And I believe that many people are not willing to wait, but I am. I've read the technology, I understand, and that's part of investing. It's not getting rich quick. It's not getting rich overnight. It's doing the work, being patient, investing upon fundamentals. And of course, it's similar to gambling, but when you get as much knowledge as possible, that's what makes it more like investing. Basically stacking the odds in your favor. Also, if you guys have seen the recent video by Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, in their virtual all hands meeting, he talks about this, so I thought this was pretty cool and worded well. So Ripple is focused on making the right decisions, and we believe one of the decisions was this change. At the same time, a few days prior to the announcement, Ashish Birla wrote that article explaining the importance of distribution strategies. The sentence summarizes the article pretty well. The key to any great product is getting it in the hands of your audience. So it seems like a setback to a lot of us, but I guess Ripple is determined that this is the right strategy that is willing to significantly drop on-demand liquidity volumes for the time being to make this change. All right, now just understand. I didn't mean to hit that, but just understand, guys. Ripple, their biggest priority is the price appreciation of XRP as well. They are essentially kind of the central bank of XRP. I know there's a lot of it locked up via escrow, but there are business development contracts behind that as well. So we often question, where is that XRP going to, and where is the other batches that we're seeing hundreds of millions of dollars of transactions being allocated to? All right, so with new corridors slowly getting activated and the new strategy being implemented, it is a matter of time until on-demand liquidity picks up where it left off and continues making all-time highs. And that's personally what I believe. If you guys think that's hopium, you might as well just sell your XRP and chase some other gains in other assets. Me personally, I have my long-term bag stacked and holding, and yes, I diversify, I trade, you name it. So again, I just find that the people that are only all in XRP are a lot more emotional because they might see other projects going up 40%, and they get upset because obviously XRP hasn't done that, but it has if you've been around, and it is simply a matter of time. Remember, 2 to 3 year bear market cycles are typical in this space. All right, if you want to go for the stock market and maybe get, well, now at the QE, maybe 30-40% in a year, go for it. But I'm going towards the emerging asset classes. All right, to finish it off with this is really cool. Now, this has nothing to do with Ripple. Of course, it's kind of funded by them essentially with Spring and all these initiatives. But Coil, former CTO Stephen Thomas, left to kind of spearhead this. Media titan with over 144 million readers tests Ripple-backed Coil for web monetization. Really cool, and we're actually seeing some significant websites actually getting this integration. And if you guys know, I actually have a Coil subscription. It's like $5 a month, and sometimes I'll actually have it linked to my YouTube video as long as it's working, and I'll actually maybe make, I don't know, a few dollars a month and get paid via XRP while people are watching my YouTube content. So it's a pretty cool concept. I think there still has to be a lot of work to do, but yes, micropayments and web monetization will be a necessary part of the future. Just like basic attention token I like, that's the Brave browser I'm using here. Links are in the description. I use this over Google Chrome, Safari, you name it. One, because I have the option to block ads, and then I can also get paid for using the browser. It's completely free. So just another option if you want to earn, another, $5 a month or however it breaks down. And then I actually get that payment to go to uphold.com and then get paid out via XRP since it's my choice. So thought that was interesting. So as we can see here, guys, Condé Nast, which attracts more than 144 million readers and 435 million monthly visitors, is testing Coil in an effort to monetize its web content. Right, so we can see Eric Dadun actually noticed all of this, wired for enabling the online payments platform. It allows users to stream real-time crypto micropayments to writers, artists, and online content creators by using Ripple's native cryptocurrency, XRP, as well as other digital assets. Very cool. The Ripple community members were quick to pick up the development and discovered that most of the media companies' brands in the United States have already enabled Coil. Now we know, with Grant for the Web, Coil, Mozilla Firefox, these groups are already working together. You shouldn't be too surprised by these developments, but it's still really cool to know that we're on the right track. So the New Yorker, Vanity Fair, Teen Vogue, GQ, all these groups, okay? So, XRP Arcade, an independent media source, revealed that the US-based Condé Nast brands are also web monetized, with Coil, including these groups as well. So, as a decentralized web content monetization platform, Coil is designed to offer publishers more control over their work as it allows fans to reward content creators in both crypto and fiat currency. And again, kind of getting paid per the amount of time that they are reading or watching. So really, really interesting concept. I'm excited to see what kind of evolves from this as well. And then also recent developments that we've gone over too with WordPress. There is a new WordPress plugin and a partnership with the money platform Uphold, which I just referenced with the basic attention token payout for using Brave browser. And again, the links are in the description. Coil is one of Ripple's key investments and has received a 1 billion XRP grant. That's right, so 1% of the entire float in $4 million in 2019 funding. Very interesting. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.